Hey, guys. Hey. Welcome to Sip and Strategy. I hope you're all doing well. I am sipping on what is this? Plum and cinnamon. This is from a store in the UK called Wittard. One of my favorites, one of my absolute favorites. Okay, so my favorite from Wittard is called Piccadilly Blend. Um, it's amazing. It's a loose leaf tea that is all the way my jam. I'm glad to see you on. Welcome to Sip and Strategy. So, today I'm going to be getting into the number one mistake that I see entrepreneurs making online. So, if you are online, please do feel free to say hi, whether you are listening on Facebook or you're live with me on YouTube. I would love to greet you. Do say hi. How is your Wednesday? How's your hump day going? Um, Let me know in the chat as well. Let me know if your day is going well or if you're just ready for the weekend. I'm going to just have a sip of my tea and see if anyone comments. Guys, super excited for the weekend. I have some exciting plans and exciting things coming up. So yeah, I'm ready for the weekend to kick off. But yeah, let me get into it, right? So I see all manner of things that happen on LinkedIn. And for the most part, I kind of just want to shake people and help them to leverage the platform more effectively. So, what I'm going to do, I do have some slides that I want to share with you guys. I want to kind of just have a chat, have a sip of my tea, and take you through the content. So, be sure to say hi. I can see that people are joining, which is awesome. So, let's get into it, guys. Let me pull up the content that I want to take you through because I don't want to keep you here for very long today. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right. So the big mistake that I see, and I don't want to like labor the point and wait till the end and like really big it up. The mistake that I see the majority of people making is that they tend to focus on the thing that they do. However, they don't focus on actually marketing that thing, right? So, what does that look like? That looks like tinkering perhaps with your offer, with getting more coaching, with taking courses. With working on the technical side of things, perhaps maybe it's going back and reworking your packages or your pricing. As a coach or a consultant, I see that all the time, that tinkering just seems to be ongoing. And what that leads to is a focus that's more on what is called the kind of like uh, supply side of things as opposed to the demand side of things. So, focusing on the supply side, what does that mean? So, it means that a business owner, a coach, a consultant, a strategist gives too much focus and energy to the actual delivery of the thing. Obviously, and this goes without saying, we want to deliver in excellence. What we deliver, we want to do well, but there has to be a balance. In terms of like filling your pipeline with new leads, with new clients. If you're just focused on the delivery side, you're just focused on making your thing better, shinier, go faster, but you don't fill your pipeline, that is going to work against you. You're going to get to a point where you look up and there's no clients, you have no business. So, yeah, that focus on the things that are behind the scenes, nobody sees the work that you're doing. And you're not getting in front of clients, you're not having conversations with clients. So it just kind of, as I say, works against you. So without the demand, there is no business. Um, it's just like a business 101. I'm just checking if I am actually live on Facebook. I think I am, but I want to be sure. So yeah, guys, without the demand, there is no business. There's no business to be had. And this is really common, right? And I think especially on LinkedIn, the reason why this happens is because people are scared of LinkedIn to begin with. It has like a preconceived yeah, people are just apprehensive. There's like concept I can't even speak. There are ideas and theories that people have around the platform that stops them leveraging it. It stops them bringing their value to the platform and being visible. So there's also the fear of selling themselves. They don't want to be salesy. They don't want to um, be seen to be pushy. So they stay away from the platform and continue tinkering with the offer that is all of a sudden one day going to be presented. Um, and that day rarely comes. There is a thing around feeling inauthentic. I was on a masterclass and I was sharing about how, like, one of the strategies is a DM, so a inbox direct message strategy. And one of the attendees was sort of saying, like, I understand the strategy, but it just feels inauthentic that, we're having these conversations on LinkedIn with the goal to sell them something. And I had to kind of like reframe and reposition her thinking, right? So I was using the analogy like with my children when they were young, they didn't want to take their medicine. It didn't taste nice. If they were unwell, that medicine, like, was almost poison to them. But I know that it's good for them. I know that they're unwell and I know that the medicine will help to improve their condition. So I would have to find ways and strategies, right, to administer the medicine without them realizing so that they can get better. And that might have looked like, putting the medicine in a carton of drinks, so a juice box, for example. It may have looked like, giving them a sweet with it at the same time. Sometimes people need the help, but they may not necessarily want to go the process that is necessary for that help. So if it means that I slide into your DMs and I have a conversation with you, it means that I get to know you. And then eventually I'm able to mention my service, I'm able to mention my offer. Um, that's for your good, that because I see that you have the problem. That's the main thing. I'm not just doing this to random strangers, or well, they're strangers, but not just random people on the internet because anybody will do. No, it's because I've identified that they have the problem. So in kind of that authenticity, yeah, it can be like a fine line, right? But I think if you know that what you're serving is of value, it's helpful, then you absolutely can kind of do away with that logic and that thinking. And then the last thing is like not knowing how to position themselves as valuable. I'm going to take a sip of this cinnamon and plum because it smells delightful. But yeah, not knowing like how to position themselves. So because of the barriers that they have around showing up, around being salesy, sometimes what we do is take a back seat and we watch everybody else getting the results on LinkedIn as opposed to stepping forward with the results that we've got for our clients, with stepping forward with the transformation, using like metrics, statistics, numbers, data, that kind of thing. If you're tracking that and keeping those, then like that is exactly what you need to be sharing on LinkedIn. So if you were able to save a company money, or perhaps you were able to make a client increase their revenue, or you helped somebody with their health or their relationships, those are the areas where they're the kind of industries or niches that are growing. And if you can show how you have improved someone in that area, then do that. But that is a common reason why people focus on the supply side rather than the demand. So, getting into what the demand side is. So, this is all around the things that you do to create interest, right? So what we're wanting to do is to create desire. We're wanting to create interest with our products and our services. And we do that in a number of ways on LinkedIn. Primarily, it's through the way that we optimize our profile. So we set our profile up as what I would call like a landing page, right? So you want it to be like a hub that somebody instantly can understand who you are, what you do, the problem that you solve. So that's through the profile optimization. And then there's the content that we put out. So that is at a high level, how we increase that demand and that aspiration for somebody to want to work with you. So that's what calls clients forward. That's what generates leads. And you want a steady flow, right? You want your pipeline to be filled continually. You don't want to have that feast and famine that we get one client, we go into delivery mode, we're just focused on that, and we forget around kind of the demand side of things. All right, let's move on to the next bit. So let's talk about the things that you can do to overcome just focusing on the supply. So visibility, getting visible. I did a live last week and that was around visibility. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go and check that out. But being visible, being top of mind, being seen, and that can look, it can take many different guises, right? So I know that there are people who prefer to be behind the camera. There are some people who, they want to have their face all up and center in front of the camera. That's fine. You work out for yourself what's comfortable for you. What is the way in which you want to get visible? And visibility could look like having a newsletter. It could look like doing a short form video on LinkedIn. There's many ways in which we can get visible, but being seen in the right places, being seen, getting involved in the right conversation. So with associations that are in your industry, with networks, with influencers, with people who have your network, connecting and engaging with them will help you to be more visible. It will help you to be seen. The next thing is around positioning. So it's really around how you present yourself. You want to be seen as that go-to person in your industry, right? When people know our name, they can start to, and they know what you do, they can start to recommend you, they can start to refer you. If you are not positioned correctly, you're just like noise on the platform. You're with the other people who are, again, probably posting infrequently. They are not clear on who they serve or the problem that they fix. So when we are positioned correctly, what happens is we become that go-to person that everyone refers. The minute the thing that you do is mentioned, your name is kind of thrown into the arena. So positioning is important. And how do we do that on LinkedIn? So you start with a strong headline. The headline is like the above the fold section. I call that the above the fold. That's the first thing that someone will see when they come to your profile. So if you have that strong headline, it serves a few purposes. So for SEO, right, that headline has keywords. So for the algorithm, they're going to show your profile to more people, but also from a individual's perspective on LinkedIn, if your headline is clear, you've said who you help, how you help, what you do, I know whether or not you can meet my needs. I know whether or not you can solve my problem. The next thing is about having a compelling about section. So the about section is really important, again, for SEO, but also, within your about section, that's where you extend what has been said in your headline. So with the headline, you get, I think it's 220 characters. You can only say so much in 220 characters. So by having the about section, that's where we can continue that thread and expand on who we are, give some of the results that we've achieved. It's in this section that maybe you want to put some testimonials, just like a few lines, a few sentences, not the whole testimonial, just extract like some key phrasing I would recommend. And then the last thing is like the content. So we position ourselves as experts, as that go-to person through the content that we post on the platform. So that's where you're going to show your expertise. That's where you are going to add value in order to generate interest, to generate leads, have people raising their hand and stepping forward, because you have positioned yourself in such a way that they understand that you are an expert in your field and in your space. So content is really important for that. We see it perhaps as, oh my gosh, what am I going to post? I just need to tick the box and show up on the day. But really, understanding content marketing is vital for a business owner. Yeah, we're not marketing experts, but we need to understand some of the necessary strategies. You know, content marketing is one, social media is another, search engine optimization is another. How do we get ourselves up the ranking on Google? But search engine optimization also comes into play on social media platforms. So I spoke about like the SEO. So making sure that you're incorporating some of those SEO tactics onto LinkedIn. So yeah, making sure that your content positions you as an expert. And then the third thing we can do is like be proactive with generating leads. So going on the platform and actively looking for potential clients, utilizing the search filters, utilizing groups, utilizing events. There are various strategies and ways that I help my clients with when it comes to lead gen on LinkedIn. Right. So, as I said, being active and not passive, right? So, we're not just sat waiting for clients to come to us. Yeah, we're doing the content thing and that will call people forward. But at the same time, in parallel with that, we can do strategies, active strategies to outreach to. So, that's like outbound marketing to outreach to our potential clients. So, the goal, guys, the goal is to have clients or potential clients move from curious to being interested, right? So they've discovered you, there's a curiosity, they may sit in your network for a while, they may consume your content for a while. And if what you offer solves their problem, meets a need, this is when, you know, they step forward, they send you a DM, they respond to a call to action, they give their email address for a lead magnet. That's when you move somebody from just interested or curious to interested. All right, guys, I can't see the chat. If you've been on here before, you know I'm still figuring this thing out. So let me see if there are any questions. Give me a moment. Let me see if there are any questions. So I feel like while I'm sharing, see if there are questions. I'll pick them up at the end if that's all right. So moving on to the next, I think I skipped a few. All right, so we did lead generation. All right, so the fourth thing is calls to action. And calls to action are something that you should be incorporating like throughout your profile, just in general, as well as in your content, right? So the demand side of things, which is what I'm encouraging you to focus on, that is where you give people the next step. Like, let me know what is the next thing that you want me to do. I've discovered you. I'm curious. Now I'm interested. How do I move forward with this? What's the next step? You know, is it to schedule a clarity call with you? Is it to download your free lead magnet, maybe a checklist or an ebook? Maybe you want me to subscribe to your email list. Having that as a call to action in your content, but also, you know, that section at the top, your banner, that is a great place to give a call to action. So if you know in this quarter, for example, the call to action that you want to give is for people to join your email list. Add that to your banner section, add that to your featured content section on LinkedIn. You have to find the right spaces and places to position things to get them in front of your audience on LinkedIn. So having a clear call to action, it really turns visibility and engagement into actionable results. And I love that, right? So they're not just sat passively in your network. If you have connected with the right people, you've done the research, you've checked out their profile and connected off the back of that, so you've curated your network, you know that what you offer is of interest to them and it's going to be activating, it's going to get them to get off the fence, right? To step forward and to take an action, whatever that is. I'm not guaranteeing that they're going to become a client, but what we want is an opportunity to nurture them, right? So I was on a coaching call yesterday, and my coach was saying that she does challenges and does them repeatedly. And one of the ladies in my cohort shared that she had attended that challenge like 3 times, right? So this is a free challenge. She had, attended 3 times. Now you might start to get disheartened that, they're not converting. But on the third time, like either the timing was right, maybe she didn't have the money the other 2 times, or maybe she heard something that just connected and what she heard was different to what she'd heard the previous 2 times, but then she converted. So I say that to say, yes, we want them to take an action, whatever that is, and then like being willing to stay the course, to be consistent, to continue nurturing them. So I say this to my clients, like LinkedIn is the hub, that's the start of the thing, but there are ancillary things. So like email marketing, like events, so doing webinars and master classes. These are all like conversion tools, right? That we use to convert people. Not everybody will convert the minute that they discover you. If I told you that, I'd be lying. The clients that I work with to generate leads to them, I'm quite clear that it's a process. And to be fair with you, LinkedIn can be a long game. And if anyone tells you any different, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. All right. So the third, or not third, the impacts, right, of focusing on supply, the supply side of your business rather than generating demand, is that there will be an inconsistency when it comes to clients, that feast and famine that I spoke about, or potentially just no clients at all, right? So especially if you have a business that leans into delivery online, right? You're not doing any strategies in person, or I want to say IRL, in real life. You're not, and being online doesn't mean it's not real life, but it's our virtual life. So you're not doing anything like, leaflet dropping or, I don't know, put in notices in newspapers. The online is where you live. It's essential, right, that we fill our pipelines from our activity, from our content, from our engagement, from the conversations. That's really important. The impact could be that you're like the best kept secret. So you are amazing at what you do. You are a fantastic coach who has the ability to get transformation for people. Maybe you have for 1 or 2 clients, but there is like a whole region, nation, globe of people who need your services, who need the help with the thing that you offer. So yeah, who wants to be the best kept secret? That doesn't make sense. Putting your light under a basket, it just doesn't make sense. We want to let our light shine and call forward the people who see that light and realize that you can help them. And then like just the impact is that you struggle to monetize your expertise. So you've done the training, you've invested in yourself, you've got years of experience, but you're now struggling for how you can make money essentially off of that experience and expertise. All right, so what's the fix? What does the fix look like? So I spoke about setting your profile up correctly. So that's ultimately what optimizing your profile is, ensuring that it is clear as to who you speak to. I say this all the time on in the online space. We want to attract and we want to repel. And we do that through the way that we set up our bios, the way that we message within our content, by our calls to action. We can be very declarative and very clear around who this thing is for, who it's not for, the ways in which you like to work, what your boundaries are, all the things. And showing like the results in your profile, not being apprehensive to share the results that you've got. Own them, like say it with your chest, your whole chest, and be bold with it. So this is just an example, a screenshot of my LinkedIn profile. If we are not connected on LinkedIn, then head over and connect with me. Shalina Piet, connect with me. I give strategies. I'm often, running some kind of masterclass or event for you to attend so that you can get your LinkedIn game all the way up. But I share this with you to share that this is the kind of banner section, right? So here I'm saying quite clearly who I help. So I help female entrepreneurs over the age of 40. What do I help them with to generate leads and clients on LinkedIn? So do you have that? Do you have like a clear statement as to who you help, how you help, and what you help them with? And then a call to action. So you can see here, my call to action is take my free LinkedIn lead flow audit. And see what's standing between you and leads. So that's a lead magnet ultimately, right? So they give me their email address. There's a transaction in return for that email address. I give them the audit. They go through that process and then they get like a report at the end of it. So do you have a call to action? Is it something that's valuable? Is it something that somebody who meets this criteria would be compelled to engage with, compelled to sign up for, and give you their email address? So that's the kind of banner section. And then the last thing I'll like point out is, again, this is the headline section. So what's important about this is that your headline actually travels with you on LinkedIn. And what do I mean by that? It's not like it's like following you around your house. No. When you comment, when you send a message, your headline is shown. So the first 50 characters of your headline will be visible when you comment, for example. So be sure to put the most valuable stuff at the front. Don't front load it. Don't put it at the back here. So that travels with you. So when you're commenting on content, on somebody else's content, because of those 50 characters that clearly say who you are, what you do, how you help, that is going to intrigue the right people. They'll be curious. They'll come over to your profile that is optimized and clear as to what you do. Chances are they will connect with you, sit in your audience, move from curious over to interested. So I hope it's starting to like fall into place and make sense. If you are not seeing results on LinkedIn, you're not seeing clients, the things I've called out are potentially the reasons why. So another fix is to be consistent, right? So by us showing up consistently, what we're doing is building trust. We are allowing people to consume our content, to get to know us, to see our insights, our expertise. And we can do this through sharing stories. Stories are great for helping somebody at the top of the funnel, top of the start of the buyer's journey, giving them a story. And we're not just giving like the Billy Goat's gruff. No, we're giving a story that allows you to lean into potentially like a problem that your client had and what you did to solve it, what the results were, sprinkling in, as I've said, some numbers. People love to see the numbers, some statistics. And what you're doing is, by telling it in that format, that it's kind of like a narrative, a story, you're seed sowing and moving them further down that kind of funnel, to then eventually, become that client potentially. So tips and client wins are great. And then just engaging daily with your network. So commenting, responding to DMs, being active and engaged on the platform. People avoid their DMs because there's a lot of pitch slapping, I'll be honest, on LinkedIn. People do avoid their DMs, but potentially you could be missing out on clients, you could be missing out on opportunities. And even like you initiating conversations, you reaching out to someone who looks like they have the problem that you solve, and having that conversation in the DMs. All right, so the last fix, I've spoken about calls to action, making sure that you have calls to action throughout your profile and in your content that is going to serve you well. Again, DM me for a free consultation, check out my free resource. It can be a call to action. There's also calls to conversation, a call to think something, a call to feel something. And we do that for engagement. When the algorithm sees that people are engaging on your content on LinkedIn, it then sends it to more people. So maybe you just want to get a conversation going. That's what you want to use your post for, and that's absolutely fine. We don't always have to be selling. If I've not made that clear, let me do that now. With our posts, I spoke previously about the jab, jab, hook, right? We don't want to just be promoting all the time. We want to be giving value. Maybe if you're posting 5 days a week, maybe 4 of those posts are value posts and 1 is a promotional post, right? So bear that in mind with your calls to action. And okay, so this fix here is to focus on relationships, not just transactions. We have to appreciate that these are humans, they're people with lives, with feelings, with situations that we have no idea about. So building those relationships, what that does is it humanizes you, for one, and doesn't just make you a brand that is just pushing your services. You're seeing a person, like a whole person who has potentially a need or an aspiration that you could help with. So building that rapport and trust, and as I've said, having genuine conversations then allows you to authentically offer your solution. That kind of just, it's like a set of steps. It just makes sense. So let me wrap this thing up. But what I do want to do, if you found this conversation interesting, this sip and strategy, you've come away with some insights into the strategies that you can take to start to generate leads, but you want to go a little bit deeper, join me on Sunday. I'm going to be doing a free masterclass all around how you can get your next 5 high ticket leads on LinkedIn next week, literally next week. So if you are able to attend that, that is the 9th of Feb at 8 p.m. GMT. What I will do, I should have figured out how I can drop the link, but what I would encourage you to do is to connect with me in the first instance on LinkedIn, and just say, once we're connected, send me a message and just say the number 5. Just put the number 5 and I will know, and I'll send you the link to register to attend that Zoom session that we're going to be doing. It's going to be interactive. I want you guys to come away, as I said, to be able to implement what I share, so that next week you're able to generate 5 high ticket leads on LinkedIn. So if you have questions, let me give you an opportunity to ask some questions. Give me a moment, guys, and I will stop sharing this screen. All right, I'm back. Let's find the chat and see if anyone has any questions. Let me know. Did you find this helpful? Was it useful? Are you like getting more comfortable with LinkedIn with these live sessions that I'm doing? I would love to hear. All right, guys, how do I find my chat again? It's disappeared. It has disappeared. Bear with me. Hold on, caller. All right, there we are. I'm back. Let's see if anyone has put anything in the chat. Nope, there are no questions, guys. I'm going to stay on for like a couple more minutes. If there are any questions, please do put them into the chat. And if you think of a question after the fact, feel free to leave it under this video. So just put replay and your question, and I will go back through and answer your questions. I'm enjoying these sips and strategies. This one was a bit like later, which is nice, right? It's like having afternoon tea. Maybe I'll incorporate some cake as well. So it might be sip, cake, and strategy. I have to find another S. Snacks. Snacks could work. That could work. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions around any of the content. Hey, Pauline, good to see you. Good to see you over on, what platform is this? Facebook. Good to see you over on Facebook. I'm also live streaming on LinkedIn. So yeah, if there are no questions, I will give you back the rest of your Wednesday. But let me just hang back and see if there are any questions. And if not, we'll call this one a wrap. I will be back next week, Wednesday, with another sip and strategy. Still trying to figure out the times, the best time to go live. So leave me a comment. Let me know what time. I've tried it at 3 o'clock. I've done 4 o'clock. I think I've done a 1 o'clock as well. So guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Look out for, if you're not on my email list, get onto my email list, and that's how you'll be able to know about the free masterclass, how to get your next 5 high ticket leads on LinkedIn next week. Like, not the event next week. The event is this week, but you can get the leads next week. So I'll be giving you all the tea around that. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the day, and we will chat